Hello, everyone. I'm Martin Romjue, managing editor of Auto Rental News, and we are here to talk about electric vehicles and rental fleets. And joining me is Bill Walschlager, the owner and CEO of Midwestern Wheels in Wisconsin. Bill, welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
So we've heard a lot about EVs in this industry with regards to Hertz and some of the challenges in incorporating them into rental fleets. What made you decide to invest in rental EVs?
Well, our journey started several years ago when there was a significant push in the US to increase the number of EVs on the road and also push for a broader expansion of the infrastructure. So we saw it as a trend. We saw it as an opportunity to meet both the local needs of people that have personal EVs and also to make EV rentals available to the public.
hmm Now, what type of EVs are in your fleets in terms of makes and models?
The types of vehicles we've chosen to provide a variety because people tend to have a lot of different needs and wants, and so we provide small vehicles like the Chevy Bolt, the Ford Mustang Mach-E. Then we go on to like a Chevy Blazer, the EV6, all the way up to Silverado, the Chevy Silverado EV, which is a great pickup for those that drive pickups. And the thing we like about the Chevy Silverado is it's got a 450-mile range. In 26, we're introducing the Honda Prologue and the Volkswagen ID4.
Now, how are you promoting and marketing these EVs?
In the rental space, mostly it's we're utilizing the Avis and Budget.com websites, which has a wide reach and audience. That seems to be sufficient for us.
hmm And the total number of EVs you have?
Less than 3% of our fleet, so it's about 40 units.
40. Okay. Now, what types of customers are you finding seem to gravitate towards renting EVs, not just business versus leisure, but among the different generations and demographics?
We have three types of customers that I like to categorize. Most customers coming through the airports that we serve. Those customers that rent EVs are coming from the East Coast and West Coast and the South, where EV adoption is greater and they're more familiar with and prefer an EV. And what we've found over the years is people like to rent what they drive at home. Mostly the types of rentals or trips that we have are typically 1 or 2 days traveling in the local area, not requiring a charge while on rent. Lately, we've seen an increase in our length of rental, which I think indicates a better acceptance, a better awareness of the infrastructure, the charging infrastructure, and better sales on our part. Lastly, it's local customers who own EVs and want to drive an EV while theirs might be in the shop or in for service. EV drivers or owners tend to have an affinity for EVs and they really don't want to go back to a ICE vehicle or an internal combustion engine.
hmm Now, I've heard from some rental car operators that it takes longer to turn around an EV. How do you handle the charging situation when you need to flip the car and get it to a new customer?
We decided right from the get-go that we really weren't going to have EVs in our fleet unless we could charge them ourselves because of the reasons you indicated. So we installed level 2 and level 3 DC fast chargers on site. If we don't have a need for the unit right away, we put it on the slower charger, which is the level 2, and that will charge the vehicle overnight over a number of hours. If we need an immediate turnaround, we use our fast charger, which can get the vehicle on the road in about 30 minutes or less.
On a related question, have you had any car renters get stuck or stranded because of charging issues or go into that range anxiety panic?
We haven't had too much of that. What we've found is EV customers are pretty knowledgeable about the range and they know how to locate charger stations. It's usually app-based and it's very easy once you know how to do it. So we really haven't had issues with people getting stuck. What we've had is people bringing back the EVs with very little charge left.
So when you look at the overall operation, what challenges would you say you've encountered and you've had to overcome in adopting EVs and getting them into the mix?
Yeah, That's a good question. The local EV adoption is still a challenge. However, we live in Wisconsin. The weather is not always conducive to
Hmm.
holding a charge in the winter as well as the summer. But we're seeing less of that, and I just think over time that'll improve. I think the biggest challenge is the range anxiety that people feel. So we spend time with our customers pre-qualifying them on what distance they plan to drive. And in addition to that, we send out all our EVs with a fully charged battery. The best candidates are those that won't need to charge the vehicle while they use it.
Hmm.
So they don't have to worry about it.
Now, when you look at the revenue per unit and the P&L on EVs versus ICE vehicles, are you noticing any patterns here? How would you assess the profit picture overall?
I think for us, the car rental profitability is mostly the same as the ICE vehicles. However, there's a caveat there, and I think it's important to realize that you have to manage the life cycle of the EV fleet differently. EVs don't accumulate miles as fast as the ICE vehicles, as their utilization is lower and distance travel is shorter. And I think it has to do with that range anxiety. As a result, we've held our EVs longer, which as a byproduct, the depreciation tends to even out over time
Hmm.
and equalizes with the residual value of comparable ICE vehicle. So having said that, we've learned that EVs are not a short-term hold vehicle because of the upfront cost. But on the flip side, they have very little maintenance cost. Public EV charging usage and revenue has been strong for us. That's a different niche, and I recommend that if you're putting in infrastructure that you make it available to the public. It is a significant upfront cost, however. So
Hmm.
I just don't think you can have the fleet without the charging available to you.
So finally, what would you say to rental car operators who are skeptical or resistant to EVs?
I don't think you can have the EVs without the charging infrastructure. You really need both to create operational efficiencies and ease of charging your fleet and the customers returning the EVs after rental. Additionally, said previously, make the DC fast chargers available to the public. It's a public service, gets people into your business location, creates awareness of your services, and creates an additional revenue stream, which we all can use over time. I think it's important also to understand your marketplace and make sure EVs are a good fit. There's research that needs to be done in that regard. Buy vehicles with a range of 300 miles or more. I think we've on a single charge, that is. It eliminates most range anxiety. Seems to be a magic number. Less than 300 miles does not sound like enough for most people. And then I think an important thing to do if you're considering infrastructure is to reach out to your local utilities. They may have a pilot program or grant program that helps offset the cost of the equipment and installation.
Well, that's certainly a lot of good information, and I know there's a lot more to talk about with EV rentals, so we'll definitely want to track your progress.
Sure,
Thanks a lot for joining us.
absolutely. You're welcome.
And for those of you who'd like more information on electric vehicles and rental fleets, be sure to go to autorentalnews.com. For today, I'm Martin Romjue with the Newsmakers series. We hope to see you again very soon. Thank you.